Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to Four Guys in a Bar podcast, sponsored by Chiefs Blitz and presented by Dave Purdy with Supreme Lending. For your mortgage solutions, call Dave today at 816-405-5831. That's 816-405-5831 because he's pretty good. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the next edition of Chiefs Blitz. I am your host, Nick Athan. Alongside me, Mr. Hense Todd with Bowtie Sports. You can check out his show every Saturday, 1 o'clock. It will also make its debut next Saturday on Primetime Sports Talk, another one of our affiliate sites, so more people will be able to enjoy the show as well as this one. Before we get started in the first day of free agency, first hours of free agency, we need to talk about our good friend and our sponsor, Mr. Eric Haynes of the Eric Haynes Group. You can reach Eric. He's one of our guys here. You can reach Eric at 816-729-3785 or email him at esaleskc@gmail.com. What's great about Eric is he is your go-to guy. He is your consultant. He is the one person who will make sure from start to finish that when you're looking to buy a house or to sell a house, he will make sure you get the best value selling it, the best value buying it, and make sure that all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed on the contracts, the inspections, all the things that go into the amount of paperwork is just absolutely crazy. So you need somebody you can trust. And you can reach Eric at 816-729-3785 or email him at esaleskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor of Cheese Who.
That's
Sorry,
right.
I had to take your line, Lou. I had you muted. Go ahead.
What the hell, Hense?
Come on
He
now.
said it.
Holy
He set him up
crap.
with what was going on, man?
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Let's
my
get
goodness.
this party started.
All right, let's bring in Lou Montagna, the other senior member, Coach Tillman, wearing the Yellowstone National Park hat. Smokey the Bear, I'm all in, man.
Absolutely, man. I got to represent, man. I got to represent.
All in. All right, guys, well, we are here on Monday. It's about 3 o'clock. Do a little later show today because 4 hours and 11 minutes ago, the free agency tampering period began in the National Football League. We've already seen a number of head-scratching signings and some other ones that make a lot of sense for the teams. But before we get to all that, the Chiefs made big news late Saturday night about 10 o'clock when my phone blew up. 9:30, I should say, and they re-signed the CEO of the defense. That would be Mr. Chris Jones, a record deal that includes $95 million guaranteed. Now, that is not 100% accurate. No disrespect to Adam Schefter. It's actually about $60 million guaranteed. Nonetheless, he is going to be playing for the Kansas City Chiefs for the next 5 years if he so chooses, and Kansas City wants to fulfill the entire contract, which is $156 million. It is very cap friendly the next 2 years, on which he'll earn $60 million, and it's done very creatively that if they get into the year 3, where the guarantee has to be decided in March, it's possible they could restructure his deal then and save even more money. But it was brilliantly put together. The Katz brothers get their big signing and their big, hey, $156 million. Look at us. He's not going to reach $156 million in new money from the Kansas City Chiefs, but he did get the $30 million a year average he wanted for the next 2 years. The contract does make him the highest paid defensive tackle, surpassing Aaron Donald just by a wee bit to be able to get it done. But again, I think we all agreed that there was a really good chance this is going to happen. I know I was a little iffy on Friday, and it took a lot of flack from the guys that, I went from like 80-20 down to about 60-40. And then a couple hours later, after the show was over, I got a tweet and said, hey, or a message that says, looks like they're moving forward. So listen, props to Chris Jones, props to Brett Veach, props to, I don't know if we have the tweet from Chris Jones, but he gave Clark Hunt an A+ as a rating for getting this deal done. So if you add that, Drew Tranquill, they signed Winchester today. They're probably going to make at least one signing today is my prediction. The wide receiver market's a little crazy, but to have Chris Jones back is so big for this team, and he's motivated. And he's a guy that he is the CEO of the defense. And hey, this is the first for Kansas City. They don't usually sign over 30 guys and give him this kind of money, but he got all the coin he could squeeze out of it. And the Chiefs got some cap flexibility. So it's a huge win as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's the biggest deal that Veach has put out other than Patrick's, right? So I mean, this is huge. You're absolutely right from that perspective. I mean, just the cash involved. Now, maybe it looks more like a 3-year, $95 million deal. Either way, he's locked up for
a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
And he earned every penny. He deserves it. He's now the second highest paid defensive player in the league behind Nick Bosa. And again, he deserves every penny of it, and he's an all-time troll, and in a positive way too, with the A+ for Clark. So God bless him, and let's go.
Definitely. I think I love the signing, man, because like I stated last show, they needed Chris Jones. It was a must. It was a must to extend his contract anyway. So I mean, to me, that showed the love and appreciating for Chris Jones and what he's worth. So. Real big signing for Chris Jones, man, and the Kansas City Chiefs. So
Mariano Rivera, man, he's the closer.
Chris he is.
And the guy who said it was a no doubter, Mr. Hense Todd, our producer extraordinaire, kept saying, "It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen." And of course, he was right, just as he was right, saying the Chiefs were going to win back-to-back Super Bowls. So I give you props, my friend.
Yes, man. It's like the Nick said, the Nick Wright said, and never in doubt.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Never in doubt, man. Guys, it's great to have Chris Jones. I don't think he's gonna play out the whole 5 years. I think he might get about 3 out of him. So it's basically gonna be a 3-year deal. You know what I mean? I feel like it's gonna be a basic 3-year deal. But again, kudos to Chris Jones. You deserve the money. And thank everybody for joining in. I put all the links in the bottom of the in the chat. So you know you can all go click on Chiefs Blitz at YouTube. Yep. You also can go on Twitter, the Twitter page, Instagram. I'll put all of them in there in the website. So follow all there. All 600 of you guys go over there, subscribe all there while you can, because we all family on this show.
That's right.
We all love each other. We all brothers and sisters on this show. So with that said,
question for Nick.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick, for giving my props. Because I was
has Nick eased off of the Katz brothers?
Oh boy. Okay, so here's my answer to that. No, but I mean, I'll say this. I will say this about Chris Jones. This is why I kind of felt like they were going to get something done with the Chiefs. Chris is an immensely loyal person, and he is immensely loyal to the Katz brothers. Why? I don't know, but he has now put them in the conversation for other agents or other players to come on board. This may mean Jody Fortson, he may get tendered because he's a Katz brothers client as well. I think Chris. He stuck with the guys. Now, I think Chris had a lot of say in how this deal would be structured. And I think Brett Veach, losing Tillis was huge, but apparently they've got a new cap guy in place, and they figured out how to manage a win for everybody. And the Katz brothers, to their credit, are now have the client with one of the richest defensive contracts in history. And I think that bodes well for them. So yes, I give them their props, but if you look at the details of how this contract was structured, they had to have gotten some help somewhere along the line. It was pretty detailed if you go into year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and how this works out. But hey, again,
so the answer is no.
The answer is no. That's not true. I will go from no credit to good credit.
Hey, they got it done. They got it done.
They got it done
one way or the other. So
listen,
that
it could have been a lot. It could have been a lot worse.
Guys, we got a little bit of breaking news. Go ahead and tell them, Drake. What is it?
Breaking news, real quick, man. Chiefs re-signed Taylor Swift to a 1-year deal worth premium suits for every Chiefs home game and away, per insider source.
Nice.
Anonymous Mango bringing it again. That's
Anonymous Mango brings it
next
every
level
show.
stuff, man.
He
next
brings it
level
every
stuff.
show, man. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, man.
Go ahead and read the comments before we get off Chris Jones, Drake.
Oh man, let's get it, man.
It's all right here. I got you. I put it up there.
We started with. Here we go. Aaron Jones is now available. I have heard that the Giants, Cowboys, and the Chiefs are interested in him.
What you guys
Come
think
on,
about
Bo.
Yeah, I mean, see, the thing is, everything is possible at the moment. Everything is open, and all possibilities are there. I mean, there's even talk of Juju Smith-Schuster coming back, which I would do it in a heartbeat. If he's healthy, if he can get that knee healthy. Aaron Jones is the guy I want. I mean, honestly, they did him.
That's crazy.
They did him wrong today. I mean, this guy was a warrior. He played hurt. I think the fact that Chiefs have been really, really quiet so far. There's been no leaks virtually. The only leaks today were Snead and the Minnesota Vikings, and the Minnesota Vikings have already signed 3 premier free agents. Obviously, lost Kirk. We'll get to that in a minute.
Right.
But I think for Kansas City right now, the fact that it's so quiet and nothing's being leaked, that tells me there's a lot going on behind the scenes. And if the Chiefs are going to make a splash today, they're going to make it, and it's going to come out of left field, because I have been told twice in the last 24 hours from people that I respect and people that I've known a really long time that the business at Arrowhead is going to be to go not all in, but to go push the envelope as far as they can to become the first 3-peat champion. And I don't think it's a smoke screen. I don't think it's anybody saying, Clark Hunt's really not going to spend the money. Clark Hunt is spending the coin. Andy Reid has a new contract that's going to pay him between 16 and 18 million. Spags is the highest defensive coach. Even the money they gave Tranquil, the money they gave Jones, the money he's on the hook for Patrick Mahomes, the money he's on the hook for a lot of these guys. And they're putting the money in the players, and they're putting the money in the coaching staff. And that's what you have to do to be consistent winners. And so as long as Clark Hunt is willing to spend the money, the Chiefs could be relevant as a serious Super Bowl contender for the next 4 to 5 years. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
I truly believe they will be. And I don't know that they really have to spend a whole lot more at this point. I think, again, it's draft and develop. They'll sprinkle in a few free agents here and there. But in terms of making big splashes, unless it's a left tackle somewhere that just drops out of the sky, they're gonna draft those guys. In terms of Aaron Jones, I would say I think he still has tread on the tire. He's great catching the ball out of the backfield. Again, the big thing is going to be the backfield share with Isaiah Pacheco. Are some of these bigger name guys that are used to getting the ball 20 times a game willing to come in and be that guy, take over for Jerick McKinnon? So again, there's names out there. I think Hense talked about Derrick Henry. I don't see a fit. I don't see him wanting to play here. I think Devin.
I see a fit for you, Lou. I see a fit for you.
I think Devin.
You don't see a fit. How you gonna see a fit? How can you don't see a fit? Derrick Henry not in playing with the Chiefs. How that's not a fit?
Because he's a guy that's typically effective 20 carries or above per game, and he's not going to get that in this offense.
No.
Real quick, guys.
Yeah, it would be nice to have him on the team. He could stand on the sideline, scare the hell out of the other team because he's such a freak. But he's not going to play that as much as he needs to really be effective.
It's all about a scheme fit. I said it earlier. So dig this. So Mango said this real quick, guys. So Mango says, he said, Juju is one of my favorite people and players. I would love to have him back in KC. He'll slide right back in. Guaranteed connection between him and Mahomes. He could also help Rice growth. And I do agree with that.
Yeah, if he's healthy. I mean, he had a bad knee when he left Kansas City. He had a bad knee all last year. He was playing with one of the worst quarterback situations in the league. Would he come back? Yeah, I think they'd be crazy not to bring him back. I think that'd be a huge get for them as a guy that's not going to cost very much money. If he's released, I mean the Patriots are on the hook. He signed a 3-year, $33 million deal with $18 million signing bonus, and I think about 22 guaranteed or something like that, or maybe it's 13 and 18.
That brings up another curious move. I mean, Kendrick Bourne is a good player and everything, but they gave him a similar deal that they gave Juju last year.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't know why anybody would. I don't know anybody would want to play for the Patriots right now.
He was on Total Access on NFL Network
going to the Chargers,
lobbying to go back. I mean, he wanted to go back to New England, so there must be something to it. Maybe Belichick's gone, and Gerard Mayo's in there. He's like, this is going to be different. This will be good. Right. But it's just an interesting signing. I didn't think he would get that kind of money right off the bat.
I'm sorry. What did you say? Hence, was there breaking news? I haven't seen it yet.
Breaking news: Gus Edwards is signing with the Chargers in the AFC West.
Interesting.
So interesting. You know what I mean? So, hey, that's good. That's going to be a good pickup for them. But hey,
Ravens to the Chargers. What a surprise!
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, it's gonna be a big battle over here in the West, but I still like the Chiefs still gonna take it there. You know what I mean? So,
talking about Derrick Henry, I could see him slotting into Baltimore.
That's probably where he'll end up.
I mean, they don't really have anybody that's healthy right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, they also have a deficiency at quarterbacks. That's not going to help either.
Oh boy!
Speaking of quarterback, Kirk Cousins has signed a 4-year deal with the Falcons.
Kirk has become my hero. He's become my hero. He's my hero. I mean, come on. He goes from being, first off, Washington takes 2 quarterbacks in the same draft in the top 4 rounds, RG3 and Kirk. And somehow, some way, he comes out of that getting 2 straight franchise tags, a lot of guaranteed money, goes to Minnesota, guaranteed money. I think he was like one of the first guys in the league to have fully guaranteed. I think it was 3 years, $84 million, and everybody was like losing their minds. Then he did it again. Now he's doing it again. Now it's not all guaranteed, but there's a huge amount that is. Mm-hmm. So for a young team with all those weapons to have a capable quarterback, now I think, in that division, that puts them, I would think, in the driver's seat. I mean, if they get a bump on the defensive side of the ball from the coaching staff and maybe some of the younger players starting to step up, that's could be certainly in the running for a playoff team. They win the division. They don't have to win many games. I think if you win 10, you win that division.
They won't take that many.
Good for Kirk. Good for Kirk.
Yeah, that's 8-9 wins. There's nothing.
I say this with that Kirk Cousins time. Remember what he did without Justin Jefferson. He was still efficient without Justin Jefferson, man.
He was having his best season.
And think about this though, you got young talent over there. You got Pitts, you got London over there, you got a good running back, man. You got a good team over there with his experience at quarterback, man. It's like people don't understand. I think Atlanta gonna make some noise though. I think Atlanta gonna make some noise this year because you got a experienced quarterback with good young weapons that he can, he can talk to, give him some guidance, give him some experience. I love the pick, man. He earned the money though. Kirk Cousins earned that money.
Yeah, no, he did, and this is
he earned that money. Yeah,
this is a terrific signing. Give the ownership credit. They went out and got their guy. I mean, this is the worst kept secret next to Barkley going to the Giants or to the Eagles. And I think this. I think if you look at what he has done in his entire career, I mean, here's a guy, 4th round pick, as Lou said, didn't do squat at Michigan State. Had some nice games, and I think got him to the Big Ten title game or something like that. And he's a 4th round pick. They draft the franchise quarterback in round 1, and he's a money making machine. He's the best agents in the business. He got franchised twice. Every one of his contracts has been guaranteed except for this one. And what did he end up getting on this one? $150 million guaranteed or something like that. So, this is the perfect fit for him. Nobody's going to work harder. And I tell you, I said this before, after watching him on that Netflix series, there's not a more likable guy in the National Football League than Kirk Cousins. I'm a big fan. Mm-hmm. I wish them nothing but success. And I hope he does well. They made a lot of changes in the offseason. They're going to be ultra aggressive, I think, in free agency and in the draft. They've got a really good pick, I think, at number 7 or 8 or something like that. And they're going to get an impact wide receiver probably for him. And he's going to have his new Justin Jefferson target. So, again, kudos to the Falcons organization. They're tired of losing now. I'm not as much sold on the, on the head coach hire and some of the things the organization has done in the past. But you got to get good people around you, and Kirk Cousins is going to fix a lot of ills.
Definitely.
That just dawned on me, because I was like, oh shoot, yeah, he signed with the Falcons. Oh shoot, Justin Jefferson ain't got a quarterback. What I mean? So hey, like you said, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm going to try to make that happen. Like, hey, you're going to have a guy. He ain't going to want to be there. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm giving up our first this year, first next year.
Hense thinks he's on first take. Who are you yelling at?
I'm telling you, I have it. I got it. I'm telling you, if I'm the guy, I'm going out there to get it, man. I'm going out there. Sorry, my mic was a little loud.
That's all right.
No, it's all good, man. The GM has already said that they're not going to. The Vikings GM has already said they're not going to trade him under any circumstance. But now, how good is his agent? He's already turned down a massive deal that would have made him the highest paid receiver, one of the highest paid receivers in the National Football League. Listen, the guy wants to catch the ball, make plays, score touchdowns, and you got to have a quarterback to do that. And right now they have no quarterback. I mean, they're talking about bringing a couple of retreads in and then drafting a young kid. I mean, that means unless he hits a home run, that's a 2 or 3 year process. And then Jefferson's going to be in his nearing 30 years old. And then, what kind of money is he going to get? So at the end of the day, I think that I can't see Brett Veach making this trade. A lot of it's going to depend on what, if he decides to trade Snead, which I'm leaning toward probably not at this point. Of course, it'll be announced in the next 20 minutes he's been traded. But, I think that the compensation would be so massive. They basically have to give up their first round picks for the next 3 years to even get Minnesota to answer the phone.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be very interesting in the draft because with the weapons they do have, you can draft and get a decent quarterback out this draft. They can fit that. So I think, the Vikings know what they're doing. I think they're trying to go young anyway. They're trying to get away from Kirk Cousins and go younger because you got the weapons over there with Minnesota. You just need a young quarterback. So I play Minnesota is in a great spot. They're trying to go young. So I understand.
And Geno Stone to the Bengals, that's huge. That's a really good fit for them.
Geno Stone, yeah.
So another Raven moving along.
He was one of my favorite. Defenders in this free agency. Not that the Chiefs were going to go after him, but that's a terrific signing. They had the pair of the best safeties in the National Football League last year, and Stone was huge. So that's a huge signing for the Bengals. Give them props.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's all about what you need. This for people to understand about this free agency, it's about depth, man. You gotta get what you need. Sometimes, as fans, you want the big splash free agency, right? But history's shown that you get these guys, they don't fit in what you want to do. You just get them because they're a big name. Get them because of their skill set. What can they bring to your team? What can they do for you?
It don't matter what they
I'm hoping they're putting a little bit more thought into it.
It doesn't matter.
You don't have to.
End of the day, the Chiefs will be back there again, three-peating.
But normally,
knocking the Bengals off the charts.
A lot of work.
Man, focus on the update, man.
A lot of work.
I can talk on this show. It don't matter who they go get. I'm telling you,
2 or 3 years into these massive deals, it seems like more often than not that the teams that sign them are looking to get out of the deal.
Yeah, and that's the way they're all structured. They're all 2-3 year deals.
And the point is that looking back in history and you look at the teams that win championships, other than the Rams, a couple of those were trades too for Jalen Ramsey and for Von Miller. But OBJ was a free agent, but it wasn't. You really don't see it. I mean, all these teams that bring in free agents, they typically don't go very far in the playoffs. It takes a long time for them to mesh. And by the time they do, the contracts are too expensive and they got to move on. So, again, I think we talked about it earlier last week where you probably weren't going to see the Chiefs do a whole lot. Veach is going to let the market sort itself out and then kind of pick and choose last year like he did with Drew, with Mike Edwards. And he's just going to, again, the Chiefs are dealing from such a position of strength because, like Dre was saying, it's mostly depth additions. they're not desperate to go get a starter. Like some of these wide receivers that were signed.
Absolutely.
Gabe Davis, God bless him. He got a decent contract.
You got a great contract for his talent.
Is he really worth that? I don't know. Chiefs weren't going to pay him that. No way.
I definitely agree because we don't know what Gabe can do. We had one game where the one big historic game in the playoffs, we was like, well, he could take a top off of defense. But
they did surprise us a little bit when they signed Christian Kirk.
Yeah,
I thought that was way out in left field, but he performed and he's done well.
Right.
And what about speaking of the Jags, man? They got what's his name too? Daniel Jones from the Patriots.
Mac Jones.
You know what I mean? So
that sent chills through the AFC South.
That was just such a weird thing, wasn't it? Look at that quarterback class right now.
Terrible.
None of them. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been like somewhat effective, but all the rest of them are either traded, looking for jobs, or run out of town.
Yep.
Right.
I get it. He's from Jacksonville.
But speaking of Gabe Davis, so what y'all saying is y'all not seeing that he can be a big fit for the Jaguars, you know, because he really, like Dre said, he really didn't do nothing, you know, for Buffalo.
Yeah, but over Calvin Ridley,
he could. He's younger. And again, this is a Doug Peterson thing. I mean, like I said, Christian Kirk, that surprised me that it's worked out as well as it has. Maybe Davis does the same. He's a, UCF guy. So maybe, being back in his old stomping grounds is going to help, but I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. The whole thing, the Mac Jones thing too, from their perspective, rehab and trade him. He comes from the Andy Reid tree, so they always like to have a couple of good quarterbacks on, young quarterbacks on the roster. So it just from his perspective, I just don't see him ever getting a chance to play there unless Trevor gets hurt.
Right.
And speaking of wide receivers, Higgins got tagged. He said he didn't have contracts talked with the Bengals, in the organization since 2023 of March. And they tag him. So he's like, why y'all tag me? And we ain't been in no contract talks. Now he wants out of there. He mentioned some quarterbacks at the Super Bowl. What teams he want to play for if he hadn't played for Joe Burrow. He said C.J. Stroud, Josh Allen, but he didn't mention Patrick Mahomes because his buddy was over there that talks a lot.
I don't know if they're that. Obviously, they're not as close as one would think.
So what would y'all think if will you think that everybody know that the Bengals ain't gonna trade with the Chiefs, but what y'all think about this situation?
Go ahead, guys.
I think it's predictable. I mean, we said it that he was going to get tagged. I mean, this was the number one guy that I wanted for the Chiefs, and they're not going to release him, unless his agent just forces their hand, and he's not going to show up or sign at any point this year that he wants his release, and then they get a compensatory pick. But are they going to get a first rounder for him? Probably not. He's got some history with injuries. He's got some history with drops. He would be a perfect fit for Kansas City because they have some other options at receiver that spread the ball out well and also, run, I think, good routes and Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce. They're gonna draft a young receiver. I mean, he's the perfect fit for the system because the Chiefs don't have that 6'4", really tall receiver with some speed. But there's no way he's coming to Kansas City unless he's released. And the Chiefs are going to have to sign at least one of these top free agent wide receivers between now and Wednesday, I think, or they're going to get priced out of the market completely. So unless they make a trade, but I never thought that Higgins and Chase could coexist. And I do not think the Bengals can be successful without Chase, Higgins, and Burrow together on the field at the same time. So this will be a massive loss for the Bengals one. I don't think, and Boyd's going to be gone. I don't think that's something that they can overcome. I really don't, because Burrow, when those two guys aren't playing in the game, or those three receivers aren't playing at the same time, is about half the quarterback he normally is when they are. So I think this is a bigger deal than the Bengals are letting on at this point.
I think with the weapons that that Burrow do have with Chase, Boyd, and Higgins. I mean, that's chemistry by itself. So when you lose a T. Higgins and you Boyd about to end up leaving, you know, you missed a chunk of your production. So yes, it's the big loss. And again, with T. Higgins, he is a standout guy, man. He's an X receiver. He can get the job done when healthy. He is very, very productive when healthy. So to me, any guy to pick up T. Higgins, man, is gonna boost their offensive ratings. Like, it's gonna boost it. It's gonna boost it, you know. So
Is you giving up that 27 first round pick for Higgins if you the Cardinals?
Yes, I am.
Oh yeah, that I would do it if I was them. I mean, they're a team that can pay him.
Definitely. Yeah, we can. Yeah, most definitely.
Well, I think T's definitely looking for number one receiver money, right? So that's first and foremost.
You gotta get Joe Alt that
you want to get young Alt.
There's no way
Alt is a beast.
They can coexist. They can coexist on the field, but money wise, you can't pay two number one receivers. You know, you almost have to make a choice. Is it going to be Higgins? Is it going to be Chase? Looks like they're leaning more towards Chase. This was maybe just like a Band-Aid. T's not having any of it. He's like, either extend me or trade me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. I agree
one or the other. So, and again, you never know with the Browns. I mean, once they dig their feet in, their history has been that they're not going to be told what to do. Right. So this is going to get ugly before it gets solved. They're not going to release them. I think they would take the franchise away from them if they released one of their best players.
Yeah.
But in terms of a trade, somebody would have to come up with, I'm guessing, maybe two number ones. But I still say the thing is, and again, I'm not comparing these wide receivers in the draft to T. Higgins, but I got to believe there's a handful of them that might be able to raise their game to that level, and you're paying them a rookie deal.
Right.
Somebody like a Keon Coleman that is the same height, maybe not quite the speed, but the catch radius has everything. So if you're looking for T. Higgins in the middle to the end of the first round, Keon Coleman, come on.
Yeah.
Right. No, I agree with you 100% because honestly, guys, this wide receiver draft is deep. This draft this year, wide receiver wise, is deep. So with that being said, you can find a quality receiver that can match up with Joe. Joe can make any guy that has a little bit of talent look great, honestly, because Joe trusts his guys. If y'all look at Eli Manning, what Eli Manning did in the Giants, he trusts his guys. I'm gonna throw the ball up there to you. That's how Joe Burrow is. I'm going to give you an opportunity to show who you are. So with that being said, you get some hype with
they're
Cole.
Sitting there with the 18th pick as well.
Yeah.
Hold on. Got a little breaking news. Breaking news. The Dolphins have signed nobody yet. So what do y'all guys what do y'all guys think about that?
Man, they're being decimated. They are absolutely being decimated. They've lost they've lost what, 4 guys already. And I think when you look at they went all in last year, guys. We saw that, and what did it get them? It got them nothing. It proved that the quarterback wasn't a guy who was going to go out there and win a Super Bowl.
Right.
They put all that money in Ramsey. He's not an all pro. He's not the best cornerback in the NFL. They got from the Broncos, Chubb. Same thing, a bust, got injured at the end of the year, probably won't be ready to play till November or December. Listen, they went all in. I don't like their coaching staff. I don't like their head coach. I don't think he's a guy that's going to lead them anywhere. They're probably still regretting not going after Sean Payton. But anyway, at the end of the day,
they cheated though.
They cheated to get there, and they got cost of draft pick. But if you're going to cheat, you better win. Damn it, you better seal the deal and make it happen. And it was all there for them, and it just didn't happen. But anyway, they lost the draft pick, and they paid the price for it. But it would have been worth the price. And other teams would have done the same thing eventually down the road. But the Dolphins right now, I mean, they're not going to compete. They're going to have a hard time competing in that division.
Definitely,
they keep losing. They've lost 4 starters, their top guard, and 3 defenders. That's going to be tough for them. And listen, those guys would rather get paid than stay in Miami. And Miami's a great place. It's a tax-free state. And some of these guys went to states where they got to pay taxes. So, they wanted out of there pretty bad. And I think the Ravens will be the next run. And, so far, at least in the early stages of free agency, 4 hours and 43 minutes in, the Chiefs really haven't lost anybody yet. So I'm sure those negotiations are still ongoing. But it's just too bad that these teams give up so quickly and they push their chips in. I mean, look at Harry Roseman in Philadelphia today. Signs Barkley. I think grossly overpays for Barkley, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But he puts his chips in every year. Last year he did. It didn't work. It just didn't. None of it panned out the way he wanted it to. They had a great. Everybody
back to the table though.
Yeah,
he keeps
good for him.
back.
And I love it.
I think he's looking at it as, okay, I won one Super Bowl doing that, and I got to another and almost won that one doing it. So I must kind of stay on this path doing that. Yeah. So I can see them going out to try to trade for Snead also. The Eagles. They can probably trade for the
maybe.
Trade for Snead.
They paid Aubrey Huff a ton of money too. Young pass rusher.
He's good. He's a good standout pass rusher. But
and
with the Eagles, it's a coaching with the Eagles. It's just a coaching staff.
Let's get right into our next sponsor. Go ahead.
Let's do it. Let's talk about my good friend, Mr. Dave Purdy. You can reach Dave on his cell at 816-405-5831. Dave is your mortgage solutions expert. He recently put together a package for myself and my wife to get a loan. It was not easy, to say the least. It was extremely difficult, actually, but there are a plethora of options available. And he took care of us from start to finish and allowed us to close in our house, hopefully in about 3 to 4 weeks. But we really appreciate what he's done. And again, you need someone who is honest. He's trustworthy. He understands the market. He knows the difference between a 1099 a person and a W-2 person. These are all assets that he has. He understands numbers better than anybody I know, and he's a magician with them. And that's what you need in today's economy. It's an election year, a lot of credit card debt out there. You need someone who can decipher the numbers, and that's Mr. Dave Purdy. Reach him at 816-405-5831. We love Dave because he is pretty good.
All right, guys, we got breaking news. We got breaking news real quick. Gardner Minshew had just signed a 2-year deal with the Oakland Raiders.
Okay, that's a gap deal. You should have put it in the chat, so I can pull it up. You put it.
I mean, it was right.
I sent you Xavier McKinney. Haven't seen that one yet, Hense.
Hey, Lou, you won't let me talk, Lou. You won't let me.
Where you at, man?
Hey, Lou, his hands is tied up, Lou. His hands is tied up like this. It's tied up. Is it a knot?
What I miss?
He's yelling at. He's still yelling at Stephen A. from this morning, man. Come on.
Yeah, man.
Wow, there you go.
Nick, please get these two guys in check.
The Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders.
To me, I love the move. You got experienced guy that's decent, plays really well. Honestly, he played well in Indy. He played well in Indy.
You put it in there, Luke?
Got him to the playoffs, right?
He did. It ain't in there. Dre ain't putting it.
Yes, it is. I said it like 20 minutes ago.
I got you. I'm gonna put it up here. But speaking of quarterbacks, we'll touch back on Gardner Minshew after Dre send me the information.
Speaking of quarterbacks, out there, sir. It's already out there, sir.
It's all right, but speaking of that, it's one quarterback that left the division, and Russell Wilson, is still getting paid by the Broncos.
Oh my God!
What you think about that, Nick?
Man, I feel sorry for the Steelers fans. They just went from they're the bottom of the barrel in the division. You get a quarterback who was an absolute bust, and the only reason he had some success in Denver, for that 4 or 5 game day stretch is because they had some unbelievable luck. They could have and should have lost almost every one of those games if they won like 4 or 5 in a row. But this is a sad day for the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. I don't even see how he's going to win the job as the starter. He's just shoving it to the Broncos, and the Steelers are shoving it to the Broncos. They're on the hook for $38 million. He's got the NFL minimum plus some incentives. The guy's got nothing left. He'll be with another team in 2025, and this is going to be one of those guys that's just going to bounce year after year after year. And I don't see it. I think it makes Mike Tomlin has He's never had a losing season in the National Football League as the head coach.
Right.
If they went, even with that great defense, this is a 6 or 7 win team. They're talking about
the 7th seed was made for the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean,
somehow, some way, they scratch and claw and they get in.
I mean, they're talking about trading, one of their top wide receivers. They've got a head case in another. They've got question marks on the offensive line, and it's clear that Russell Wilson can't be in a disciplined system, and this is a place where he can go and spread his ego. Even though Mike Tomlin's got one of the bigger ones in the National Football League, I think this is tragic news if I'm a Steelers fan.
I don't think
my
so.
condolences.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be – I think the Steelers going to turn it around. I think Russell going to go here and Russell going to cook. This is my reason why. Last time we seen Russell cooking, he was with a great defense. And the Steelers always have a great defense, and they got a great defensive coordinator. So with that said, you bring in Russ, you get and they got a high draft pick too, so they can get another wide receiver, go on the side of George Pickens. I can see this team actually cooking. And I'm hearing
really
in the grapevine, I'm hearing in the grapevine, I'm hearing they getting they all leaked in on King Henry too. So if that's possibly happening, if they get King Henry, and they get
Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, and they're bringing Henry.
That's how I get to Luke. Only Bo missed. I agree with you, Bo. I'm gonna piggyback off you real quick. They got a good running game. They got a good running game. They got a good running game. So basically, what it is this. Their running game, they got a good running game that's established, right? So you get that with play action, guys. Play action pass. Russell Wilson thrives on good running game because he can throw off the play action, the bootlegs. Russell thrives off that because he doesn't have to do too much.
Yeah, that's the thing. But he's going to have to do a lot in that division. He's got three. I mean, the Ravens defense, even with the losses they're going to have, is still pretty darn good. The Browns defense is sick.
And somehow they beat them once last year.
And they did.
Somehow they beat the Browns. I mean, you can say what you want. There's something about that logo. There's something about that organization.
Not this year.
They find ways to win. And I think the key is going to be Arthur Smith because they're going to really lean on running the ball. Right. Mm-hmm. So
absolutely.
Russ doesn't necessarily have to cook. He just has to be competent because they weren't getting anything out of Pickett. Mason Rudolph was he wasn't a difference maker in Denver, but he was at least competent. He had decent numbers. Now, again, that's not going to win a ton of games, but it's better than what they had, and it's only cost them $1 million.
No, I get, and that's fine. That's fine with the money. Give me a second. That's fine that it didn't cost him anything, and it may be a fit under the circumstances. But Rudolph, I thought, played really well down the stretch, and that's the kind of quarterback they need. I mean, Wilson. He does the same thing, when he's doing his bootlegs or when he's doing motion and he shifts, when he goes to his left, he's always running. When he goes to his right, he's always passing. It never changes. Hasn't changed in 5 years.
Right.
And teams are going to figure him out. And that's not the division to go to. I'm sorry.
I'm going to say real quick though, Nick, real quick. I'm going to piggyback off what you just said. Understand this. Russell Wilson is elusive. So, when he do make plays, remember in the Seattle, they didn't have a lot of premier number one guys for real. You had Locke, you had Baldwin, I forgot Tate. These are one of the guys that you be like, oh, these are guys that can beat coverage. They only are effective with a good, strong run game. So the Pittsburgh still have probably one of the strongest run games in the NFL right now. And they got a solid defense. So Russ ain't got to do too much for real. It just rely on the run. Once the run get established, and then Russ can do Russ. But if there's no running game, yes, Russ is going to fall.
Is it me or Russell Wilson look like he about to say, "Hey baby"?
Yeah.
No, don't know, my darling. He look like he about to be a straight 50 singer, don't he? To me.
All right.
That's good. Yeah. The
Ravens. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, the Ravens purge continues. Wide receiver Devin Duvernay signed a 2-year deal with Jaguars. Wow.
Jaguars loading up at receiver.
12.5.
Yes, they are.
Now, he's their return guy.
Yeah.
You know, he does some trick plays in the offense. But again, I mean, the Ravens are losing more guys. They lost a running back. They lost their best special teams player. You know, who knows? Maybe they lose Patrick Queen as well before the end of the day. But man, oh man, again, when you go all in and you fail, it sets you back. And it's even with a salary cap that's through the moon. You know, the Dolphins, the Ravens, they're getting pummeled today.
Yeah, Dolphins ain't making no splashes, right? I don't know what the Dolphins trying to do.
They can't do anything. They have no money.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what.
Like a lot of these, like Nick just said. I mean, a lot of these all trying to get under the cap. We still haven't seen the Chargers unload anything. You said they signed Gus Edwards. I'm sure that was a small deal, maybe a year. It
was a 2-year deal, yeah,
$3 or $4 million. You know, it's nothing huge, but you know, you still got Bosa hanging out there. You still got Mack hanging out there. You still got Derwin James. The receivers that you don't know whether they're going to pay or not. So it's still coming. I mean, Wednesday they got to be at the number by Wednesday at 4:00.
Wow.
So that's your deadline to be at or under the salary cap.
Yeah, the Raiders gave Gardner Minshew $25 million with $15 million guaranteed for 2 years.
Hey, Gardner Minshew proved his worth.
Yeah, I think that's cheap for their starter.
Yeah, but he proved his worth though. He proved his worth, man. Yeah. Like for what he had in the end, he proved his worth. And then remember, you got Devontae Adams over here, Renfro. You have legit weapons now.
That still doesn't preclude them from taking a quarterback in the first round.
I mean, they still are though.
If the guy they like falls, or they're able to trade up a little bit. If they like JJ McCarthy or one of the other guys, I don't know, Penix. I don't know if he's that highly regarded, but
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, they still gonna take him though, Lou. I get that too. Yeah, I get that too, Lou. Good point, but you still need that experience at quarterback.
You gotta have, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So my thing is like get another quarterback in, but also Minshew to me is a great.
Minshew's like rinse and repeat. He goes to Indy and they bring in Richardson. Now he's going to the Raiders, and they're probably going to bring in a rookie as well that's going to take his job. So
that's crazy.
After this, the Raiders needed a quarterback, and there's a lot of teams out there needed a quarterback. It may be the Bears is not going to trade Fields. Maybe they not, because are they asking for too much for Fields or something? Because in the day, the Raiders needed a quarterback, and the Falcons needed a quarterback. The Vikings they need a quarterback. So, what's the asking price for Justin Fields?
Or are they confident? Or are they going to keep Justin Fields?
I think they're going to keep him.
I think
they probably going to keep him.
Well, Mac Jones just went for a 6th rounder. So what does that tell you?
Yeah,
Matt Jones.
I'm not saying they're on the same level, but they were. But they were in this. They were in the same draft class. And only one of them's made the playoffs, hence, and only one of them has been in a Pro Bowl, hence. So I don't know what are you watching? I don't know. He looks great in fantasy football, getting all those rushing yards. It's outstanding. Is he your Madden quarterback? Is that it?
I want to take Matt Jones. I want to take him over.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a guy in his draft class just went for a 6th rounder. So if the Bears are looking for a 2nd or a 3rd,
I'm just asking what you look.
It's going to be tough.
So basically what we're getting at is this. Okay, Fields, to me, I think Fields is staying. They go cute. They go wide receiver in the draft. They get Marvin Harrison and whoever. They get somebody to complement Fields, right? Or they may go Joe Alt. They may go Alt and get a tackle. They may go Alt and get a tackle. So the thing is this:
they're taking Caleb Williams. You
really? You think?
Yeah, they have no choice. They have no choice.
I don't think there's any doubt.
They have no choice. They have to take him.
Do we?
I think he's a head case, but they don't have a choice.
Oh, do they take Neighbors?
No, they're not going to take Neighbors.
They're not going to take a wide receiver with the first pick.
No, they're taking.
My bad. I mean Daniels. My bad. I mean Daniels. Do they take Daniels?
Before we get
Overall
into
killer
that,
win.
go and ask some of these questions, Drake, because
Yeah, let's do that so we don't.
gotta reach out.
We haven't heard from Anonymous Mango enough today. Come on.
What?
Come on,
Okay,
we need to answer his
Anonymous Mango
questions.
been
Hey,
eating.
Hence, we just went over
Hold on,
1,000.
hold on.
We're over
Before you
1,000,
do it,
Hence.
Hold on. Before you do that, this is our 100th episode, and
That's right.
we just 1,000 viewers. So, guys, thank you,
1,002.
Thank you.
Much love.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much,
I
guys.
forgot to
did it.
mention that. Yes, this is our 100th Four Guys in a Bar Chief Splits podcast. We started back in what?
It's only gonna get better, guys.
We
It's
started
only
back
gonna
in
get
what,
better.
July, August, somewhere in there.
Are we eligible for
started-
syndication now?
I don't know. So the 1,000 people that are on, please hit your subscribe button. It should appear at the bottom right of your page if I've done the back end properly. It should be there, so you can hit the subscribe button and just click away. You'll be notified via email that when it shows up. Now who knows what our schedule is? We got more to talk about today, but our schedule is going to vary this week. Just depends on all the news that comes out, because this is the best time of the year. This is the best time of the off season, as far as I'm concerned. Free agency, and it's great. So with that, let's answer some of these guys' question and give them some manners.
Let's eat. Okay, now Anonymous Mango says this. He says need to the Steelers for Higgins.
No, I don't see it.
No.
1-for-1. I don't think there's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. I'm not sure that anybody would take Pickens right now with having him coming in and doing a complete evaluation, meeting with Andy, meeting with Patrick, meeting with Nagy.
I'm guessing they did that before the draft.
Well, I don't know if Pickens was on. Yeah, most everybody passed on him, and including the Chiefs twice when they could have had a shot at him in the second round. They didn't want anything to do with him. So I just don't see it happen. Though I do think one of his next questions is, there any reality in which Veach brings in Ridley? The longer Ridley stays in the market, I think that it's a better chance for the Chiefs to sign him.
Yep.
I'm surprised that he hasn't gone faster. Now, this could mean the Jaguars are trying to retain him and really, really create a super machine offense, because they've got the running back. They
just laid out money for 2 new receivers, though.
Yeah, and Mitch Morse, starting center. That's a good veteran presence, for Trevor Lawrence. If there was a weakness, it was part of that offensive line. The wide receivers were not as consistent. They weren't able to follow the creativity of Trevor Lawrence being on the move, aka what we saw in Kansas City for most of the year. So they brought in some weapons. So I think that the longer he's out there, Anonymous Mango, I think Ridley has a better chance. If Ridley's not signed by tomorrow morning, then he probably has a deal somewhere. And we're just not going to know. And again, listen, kudos to the Chiefs. Nothing's leaking today. There's been nothing out there. What's that?
Could he go back to the Falcons?
It's possible he could go back to the Falcons, but kudos to the Chiefs, man. They're in serious business mode right now. We've talked about it quite a bit. This is 3P territory, and it started today. And the fact that you're not hearing any rumors about the Chiefs, it isn't because the Chiefs aren't doing anything, as I mentioned earlier. They're making phone calls, and they're planning their assault on the AFC. I just don't think they can sit back. They've got an owner that's committed. Would not be shocked at almost anything the Chiefs do today in a way that surprises us. And my gut tells me that there's a big move Brett Veach is going to do that we didn't see coming. It happens every year in free agency. And at this point, I couldn't even begin to guess which one I think it might be.
Man, you ain't lying.
When you say big,
yes.
Hello.
What, like big? What? Give us a
like a player that the league is going to say, "Oh my God, Kansas City got that guy," and it wasn't anybody we've talked about in the offseason.
Okay.
Like Jawan Taylor last year was not a guy that we talked about.
Right.
Didn't expect that signing at all. I think that Brett Veach, Hollywood Brown could. We've heard. We haven't heard any rumors that he's headed to Kansas City or part of the Kansas City's plans. It would make sense. Any one of these receivers are out there would make sense. But right now, receivers are getting paid. Running backs are getting paid. I mean, Jacobs got 4-year, $48 million from the Packers. He's a great player. But
that's the biggest surprise of the day to me.
That's the biggest surprise. Yeah.
The running back market has been so robust, and the guys that were just a notch below the top guys went first.
Right.
Usually it's the other way around, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of the receivers, the guys that we talked about, Ridley, maybe a little bit, Hollywood, Mooney, KJ Osborne, all probably smaller deals. I think Ridley's probably still looking for a pretty decent payday.
Yeah.
Probably sees himself as a number one receiver in the league. And I think he has been. He wasn't so much last year. That may have been, maybe he didn't mesh with the coach. Maybe he didn't mesh with the quarterback. I don't know, but it seemed like he was all in.
What about Chris Samuels from the
Curtis Samuels,
yeah, from the
Ohio State guy? He's kind of like a gadget guy. He's kind of like the same size as Sky Moore. If they were going to move on from Sky, I could see that move being made.
Because Tyreek Hill is recruiting him to the Chiefs somehow. I don't know why he's recruited to the Chiefs.
Wow, okay.
Because he wants to come back so bad he can't stand it.
They miss. I mean, Tyreek Hill do miss. Look now. Tua's look horrible now down the stretch, man. He ain't clutch. He missed that Mahomes. He missed that aura, man. And to be honest with you guys, that combination was deadly.
I'm telling you what's going to happen. He's going to play out the string in 24 and 25. And then he'll sign a 1-year deal with Kansas City, finish out his career.
Somehow he could like live in Miami during the week and show up in Kansas City for games. It would be. He got
in more trouble over the weekend. He got into an altercation over the weekend, and that's his third one.
He was in the vicinity, from what I understand.
He's been in the vicinity too much of other things that probably aren't being reported.
Yeah, trouble seems to follow Tyreek around. Yeah. I feel bad for the guy.
Hey,
so what y'all think about the Packers giving Xavier McKinney? I'll probably saying his name wrong.
I can't believe the Giants let him go. I mean, he's a young player. He played every snap last year. He was more than effective. I mean, he was a really good player, one of their best players, I thought. He's a captain. You got the C on his chest. 24, 25 years old. I mean, the Packers don't make big signings unless, again, that the age, the younger player, at a position that they need. And this is a little out of character for them, but I'm sure they were shocked that he was available.
True.
Yeah. I mean, this is, again, the safety market's getting paid. And, that's a huge loss for them. The Giants, are in a really tough spot. They're really in a situation where, they're losing some parts and pieces. There's a question mark about the coaching staff. It's kind of a mess. So,
how's that Daniel Jones contract working?
Yeah, that's worked out real well. I mean, they were talking about trading him yesterday and today, and there's no one's going to take that contract.
Could y'all believe they said that Daniel Jones is better than Kyler Murray? Now you see the truth. Like, sometimes these fans are ridiculous to me, man.
Both of them ain't no good. Both of them ain't no good.
Man, stick to your stuff, sir. Hey, man, what's the more updates, bro? Huh?
Hey, I put it like this. The update is
Anonymous Mango is scooping us.
Mango is gunning for your spot, Drake.
He is. He's gunning for everybody.
Hey, he is on everybody because Mr. Bo over here is slipping, man, on the update, sir.
Leonard Floyd.
Listen, I didn't get this man a picture. I gave him a picture, no post. Where's the picture at, man?
Yeah, put no picture over here.
I did, right?
Hey, so if Leonard Floyd's getting 2 for 20, what is Eric Armstead getting?
Put him in a Chiefs uniform. Put him in a Chiefs uniform.
That's a guy in the screen.
That's a guy that I might be interested in.
Yeah, Charles Omenihu, if you're listening, you need to go out there and recruit him because it looks like he's going to be cut. And I would love. I mean, he and Jones together would be just sick. The amount of movement they could do on the defensive line. You had Karlaftis, they keep Mike Dana. Maybe one of their other pass rushers develops. I mean, that defensive line could be really, really sick.
Stop, Drake. But with that said, man, hey, it's a lot of free agents out here. There's what is your surprise signing so far, Nick? Your surprise signing that you didn't see that guy going to that team.
Well, I think the amount of money that Barkley got is still so shocking to me. I wasn't too shocked that he, went to the Eagles, but the guy has been a disaster for the last 2 years. He's been hurt. He's played in a really bad offensive system. And, I like Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator. I don't care much for Brian Dable, but to me, that's been the biggest surprise. But the ultimate one is Gabe Davis going to Jacksonville and getting close to $45-50 million in total value. He's an average receiver at very best. I don't even think he's as good as MVS. And that was a shocker to me, big time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that one too. I do.
My shocker, seeing that I thought that they tagged Higgins, and I thought they was gonna have a deal right there on the table for him. But shocker is there was no contract talks always March since last year. So why tag him and don't give him no money? So that's my shocker right there.
Yeah,
crazy that you're gonna play around franchise like that.
But you're in the same division. You moved to the same division. Your rivals, man. That's really was it that personal, man? You couldn't go nowhere else.
Dale Carter left and Neil Smith left to go.
Neil Smith, I was about to say the same thing. Neil Smith won and got a ring with Denver. And got a ring with
Neil
Denver.
got a ring. Neil got 2 rings.
Couldn't have gone to a worse place.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That hurt.
I
used to like Neil Smith. Come on now.
What was his reason? But what was his reason though?
Money. I mean, what do you mean?
Carl Peterson could not pay Derek Thomas. Derek got the extension and Neil didn't.
Oh.
And they couldn't afford both. I mean, the Hunt family wouldn't.
Always comes down to the money. Yeah. But I think to me, the biggest surprise, the running back market being as robust as it was, and the guards, Robert Hunt, God bless him, got $100 million 5 years from Carolina. Great player. But again, I mean, that just goes to show you that, and I think it's been bandied about on social media as, Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey coming up in the next next year or so. And I had tweeted out that the Chiefs have had no problems walking away from really good centers in the past. Rodney Hudson was all pro. They let him walk. Morse that signed with Jacksonville today, they let him walk. He was trending in that direction. I like Creed a lot, but all signs point to maybe not so much.
And real quick, you got Swift going to the Bears, man, and hey, that's gonna be a crazy pickup for the Chicago Bears. You know what I mean? If they build a roster like I think they're going to do this draft. And then if they do keep Justin and then get a good wide receiver out this draft, then they're gonna have a good team to be dealt with next year. So and they got all that salary cap. I'm surprised that they ain't signing more people.
I got you. Good point. Now, real quick, I got another question from Greg Coleman. He said, "Guys, do you think Cousins was overpaid? I think it's pretty desperate move by the Falcons. I don't, Coleman. I think Cousins earned his money. I think Cousins earned it. I think Cousins earned his money. He showed his worth, man.
Just about everybody that signed today was overpaid, but that's the market that you're in. That's a good point too. He fit. He got the money that at his level of play that's what the market is right now. And God bless him. Nick had mentioned his agent. That guy's got to be I don't know why more people aren't running to him.
He's Joe Thuney's agent. Thuney got a great contract. I mean, listen, any year that you pay Kirk Cousins, he's overpaid. It's the way it's been his entire career. And I love him. He's won 1 playoff game in his entire career, and he's going to leave the NFL earning over $500 million.
Yeah.
So what is it about Kirk Cousins that is it the agent or just his personality? What is it?
Well, he's a pretty good player.
He's a good player.
He's a damn good player.
I am not knocking him at all. He's a good quarterback, but he's won a single playoff game.
That whole Shanahan tree loves him.
Yeah,
everyone to a T. I mean, even Raheem Morris was the defensive coordinator there. Now he's his head coach again. But McDaniels and McVay and Shanahan, they all love Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and I think he carried that team the last couple of years. He did his very best. And I listen, I love the guy. He's one of my favorite players in the National Football League. And he's a good person. And he's done well for himself. He's done well for his family. He works hard. He gets hit a lot. He's going to a situation where he could be the hero. And it's unlike being in Minnesota. The Falcons have stunk for a really long time, and all he has to do is go in there and win a bad division. I mean, a very bad division. Mediocre is being kind. And I think he'll do that. And if ownership is committed to spending more money and if they have a good draft, they're going to be a playoff team. Now, what they do in January football remains to be seen. But for right now, hey, it's a good signing for them. And he's earned every penny. He's done it his way. And he has proven that he has value in being part of your football team. And everybody today has paid him that way. Even though he didn't start, he wasn't the starter, at some of that time.
That? So. You like that. But again, looking at the Saquon Barkley deal, it's a lot of former players with the Giants ain't liking it. What you got to say about that, Nick?
Well, if they want to have sour grapes, fine. I mean, it's just
we just talked about it with Neil Smith.
Every one of those guys has got to do what's best for their family. And this wasn't a surprise. This has been talked about for weeks as a possibility. And the Giants tried to sign him today, but they weren't
to extend him.
Yeah, they weren't willing to pay him the money he wanted. And his agent knew he could get the money from the Eagles because the Eagles are desperate. This was a desperate move by Philadelphia, and the Giants don't think they're in a desperate situation. That's the difference. So they got nobody. Every one of those players needs to walk into the GM's office and to Dable's office and say, "What the hell's our plan, guys?"
And you have,
why wouldn't you pay our captain or one of our leaders?
One winning organization and one organization that has been a mess since like Eli Manning left.
Yeah, the Giants and the Jets are an absolute mess. They're absolute disaster franchises. I hate to be a football fan in New York right now. And the Bills, they're losing guys too.
Right, left and right. But free agents just keep going. So if you seeing news before we see it, put it in the chat. You know what I mean? But again, this is our 100th episode. This is our 100th episode together. We all, and Nick seen my work. I reached out to Nick. Nick brought us on, and I don't know where Lou came from. Lou just came from off
Lou and I have been talking for years about doing something, and we just never quite did it.
Just the timing was never quite right, and then you guys showed up, and everything came together.
We hadn't had our Kirk Cousins moment yet.
But it's 1,066 guys, 66 of you guys, you family members, as we called you, brothers.
That's right.
Please go ahead and subscribe at Chiefs Blitz on YouTube, and also our Twitter page, Instagram, all the sites at Chiefs Blitz. Give us some love. So, hey, it's been a great show. We're gonna keep going.
Tell your friends.
I don't have nowhere to go, so
tell your friends.
Hey, real quick. Greg Coleman said, "Congrats on the 100th episode. Just found you guys recently. Appreciate the love."
Thanks, Greg. Tell your friends, all your Chiefs fans. Please subscribe.
Man. Absolutely.
Yeah. For those that don't know me, I used to run Warpaint Illustrated for 13years.com in the magazine, and had the time of my life. About a year before the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes, I retired. And I just got the itch about a year ago and put this together. And, this has been extremely rewarding. I've done it differently than I've done it in the past. I decided I'm just going to have fun. Don't care about the numbers. Don't care about anything else. Just want to talk, football with my buddies. And
we do care about the numbers.
Well, of course we care about the numbers. Hence we'll tell you otherwise. But the point being is this was an investment of time. It was an investment of money, but at the end of the day, we're just fans of the Chiefs. And I've been around this team since the 60s with Hank Bell and Bobby Bell as my neighbors growing up. I have a very charmed existence. I mean, I would knock on their doors. I would go to their houses. Lenny Dawson and I were friends for 50 years. And I bring all this up because I'm old school. You know, this team means something to me, and we know it means something to you. And there aren't a lot of sites out there and a lot of podcasts that are going to give you, you know, kind of talk that you need to do, because this is what you do when you talk to your buddies on the phone, whether you're texting back and forth, you go to a bar and have a beer, you're watching a game. That's how we are. That's how we talk. And I think it's a great format. So
just four guys in a bar.
Just
man.
4 guys in a bar.
Guys in a bar.
And at some point, we'll have a contest. If anybody can name on our 4 guys in a bar logo 2 of the bar members. Now, we did this amongst the 4 of us a while ago when the logo came out. So maybe we'll debut this on Wednesday. Will be season 2, beginning season 2 of 4 Guys in a Bar. We work on the same league year rules. So our season will end on Wednesday, which will be our first show of season 2. We'll be back at 3:00, I believe, on Wednesday. Now, doesn't mean we won't pop in a show tomorrow. Maybe something crazy happens, but you know, you'll just subscribe. That's all I can say. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, at Twitter, at Chiefs Blitz, at Facebook, at Chiefs Blitz.
I don't know where they going, but I ain't going nowhere. I'm still going. So,
all right, well, that's fine. We don't have to end the show. I'm good. I'm just kind of being thankful for the fact that you know, this is one of our highest totals in a time. I really appreciate it. It's
TMZ
fun.
Todd's got something.
All right, you got some news?
Let's go.
I ain't got nothing right now. I'm still searching, but I'm hearing right now they saying that a lot of teams are trying to talk, coming from you know, one of the sites that I follow said that, you know, a lot of teams are trying to reach out to the Chiefs and require L'Jarius Sneed, including the New York Giants. So we will see.
Let them overpay. Again, if you're going to give up a first-round draft pick and possibly a 4, I think you can get the deal done. I don't think Brett Veach has any desire to give Sneed away. And again, for those that didn't see the post over the weekend, he was at a signing with Justin Reed in Columbia, Missouri, and he was talking to fans, and there was a conversation that was had, and somebody asked him, "Are you going to stay?" And he said, I want to stay in Kansas City. And the indication was, even though the words didn't come out of his mouth, that, you know, that if the contract was fair, which means he probably would take less money. I mean, again, Sneed's going to get paid no matter where he goes. Even if he stays with the Chiefs, he's going to get a lot of money. And I think at the end of the day, you know, this is the biggest contract he's ever going to get in his career. And does he really want to leave Spags and Cullen and Merritt and a chance to three-peat for history? And I think the knee was sound enough to get him through the season. I think that, you know, there was some question marks about some of the things that had happened to him in the past. He's matured. He's gotten past all that. He's got a new baby. But the fact that he was out signing and he drove 2 hours and he still has his Chief stuff up on his social media accounts leads me to believe, just me, and I said this earlier on Twitter, that I have a feeling that they're probably able to strike a deal that I think is reasonable and structured very similar to Jones's contract for at least on the 4th year. It's probably getting a 4 or 5 year deal. Probably put him in the same position. But everybody if you're an NFL defense, you want L'Jarius Sneed on your football team. And I think Brett Veach has to have the attitude is, okay, if we're going to part with our second best defender and one of the top 3, we're not giving to, I don't care what's gone on in the past. If running backs can make $12 million a year again, the Chiefs can get a 1st and a 3rd for L'Jarius Sneed from a team that wants it bad enough. Right. And if there are 6 or 7 teams in on him, then mark my words, Brett Veach is no idiot. But I think the preference is to work something out. And I as much as I want the draft picks, especially this year in the first 3 rounds or 4 rounds, oh my goodness, such depth at all the positions that they need or they want to add their own depth to. I just don't give the guy away. If it's a late 2nd rounder, forget it. I mean, the Lions have offered a 2 from what I was told, and a couple of teams have offered a 3. But if you get 6 or 7 teams involved, the Giants need to make a big splash because they're getting crucified today. Maybe they make a trade. Maybe they make a trade for Snead.
Now,
They overpay
price
for
of
him.
poker's going up.
Yeah, price of poker is definitely up.
Now, does Snead have that opportunity where he can choose where he want to go?
Well, the agent, he's represented by the St. Louis group, which has been around a long time. They don't have a lot of NFL clients, but the negotiation goes like this. Hey, let's just use the New York Giants. My client will sign for 5 years, $105 million with $80 million guaranteed. Will you give him that contract? And they say, yes, we will. Okay, here's what the Chiefs are looking for compensation. They want a 1 and a 3. Will you do that? And they may say yes or no. If they say no, the agent calls Veach, and Veach says, hey, let him know that this. So like when the whole Tyreek Hill trade went down, that was all orchestrated by his agent, by Drew Rosenhaus. And he suckered the Dolphins into giving the Chiefs 5 picks because the Jets
were getting in there, right?
The Jets offered 3 second-round picks. And, and he wanted to go play for Miami, and he kept saying the Jets were offering more. You're going to have to really pony up. And, that was the best trade in franchise history because of what the Chiefs netted when it was all said and done. So again, Veach isn't going to give the guy away, and nor should he. So I think at the end of the day, I think you're going to see Snead stay in Kansas City, unless the team's willing to give up a 1 and a 3.
I think he wants to stay,
right?
But he definitely wants to get paid too. I mean, I think we said earlier the floor is Jalen Johnson's deal, 4 for $76.
Yeah, that's really low.
I'm guessing 4 years he'd be looking closer to like 85 or 90 to be like near or at the top of the cornerback market. Mm-hmm. And then you got structure, and they can, mess with all that stuff and make it look the way it needs to look and keep some flexibility in there, like every other contract that they do, so that we don't get in cap hell. But it'll be interesting to see. But if somebody comes across with a knockout deal, he's certainly not just going to listen, but he's probably going to take it.
Yeah, they put $19.5 million back in the cap. They haven't even restructured Patrick's deal, which will give him another $25 million. They haven't extended Thuney. They haven't extended Kelsey. They haven't extended Justin Reed. They can move some tackle money around a little bit. The Chiefs can do anything they want to with a few things to move some money in 2024, 25, and 26. And again, cap's going to go up probably 15 to 20, maybe 25 million, 20 million every year. So that inflation on the Patrick Mahomes contract is always going to be covered. That's why it's such a brilliant contract, the way it was structured.
And maybe because the salary cap went up a little bit more than everybody expected, maybe that's why some of these markets are a little bit more robust. And a lot of teams really went after and re-signed their own guys.
Yeah.
With the extra money. But they're sitting in the catbird seat, and that's why they will just wait. They will just run this until the market gets to where they want it on any player. They're not going to overpay for anybody.
Nope.
So with that said, we're going to get into our sponsor one more time. Then I'll get into the breaking news I have. Go ahead.
All right. Sounds good. All right. First up, I want to talk about my very good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. He is my personal realtor. He's also a friend of almost 20 years. He is a guy who I've been hounding and working with, and he answers every text. He answers every phone call and trying to make sure that our house gets closed. We had to find the right house. We had to find the right situation. We had to go through endless contracts and negotiations back and forth between the buyers, us, and the sellers, kind of like the Chiefs versus the Raiders kind of thing. And you need someone who can make sure he understands how all those numbers work, how all those things are put together. And you need somebody you can trust. And that's somebody that I trust. And my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes, you can reach him 2 ways. First, by cell, 816-729-3785, or email esaleskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor, Chief Who?
Proud sponsor of Chiefs Who as well.
Before we get into news, we got a little breaking news for a co-host that's on this show. He'd like to follow his team. What you think about Justin Jones going to the Cardinals on a 3-year deal of up to $30 million guaranteed?
Justin Jones being consistent for the Chicago Bears. He was leading them in hits. Quarterback had 17, I believe, quarterback pressures. Last year, man, remember, it's all about adding depth, man. You want depth on every position, and they've been adding it. They've been doing it, man. You know, from Nicholas, from the Raiders, now we get Jones over here. Now we get Bunting. Just adding depth, man. Like being smart, spending your money within the cap, and making smart decisions. So, amazing move.
Now, going back on the Raiders thing, what Avante Adams got to be thinking? Like, come on, man, y'all give me Minshew. Y'all give me this guy. You know, he signed that contract. He thought he was gonna have David Carr over there. David Carr got kicked out the building. Now he getting Minshew.
He didn't care.
You know, so is he just care about the money, or you know, it just is what it is? Because at the end of the day, like, man, I'll be kicking myself like, come on, man. I
mean, you look at Minshew. Minshew is like, he's not bad. He's not a bad quarterback, man, by any means. He's not bad. So you're not getting washed. You get a nice valuable quarterback that can get the ball to Davante Adams. So it's a good pickup. Like, and you look at like who else in free agency right now is gonna make a big splash as far as QB.
There aren't any.
No, there aren't.
Really aren't. They're all stopgap guys. You know,
right.
I gotta believe he's, if the Raiders could make it happen or the Jets could make it happen, he'd make a beeline to go play with Aaron Rodgers again.
Right.
He was childhood dream. You know, his hometown team, the Raiders. He's from Northern California. Okay, he's done it now. Now let's go back and play with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Brian Burns and the Giants is something being reported too. So. Teams are making moves. Teams are making moves, guys. And we'll be around for all of it.
So that would be a trade then, because I'm pretty sure he was tagged.
He was. So it'd have to be some sort of sign and trade. Yeah. Now that'll be interesting because he's a premier defender, and that could set a table for what the Chiefs might be able to get for Snead. You get an edge rusher who can get to the quarterback.
That contract would have to probably be close to the Chris Jones deal.
It'd probably have to be higher than that because of the age difference.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, it'll be close.
Chris Jones won't be the highest paid defender for very long. I'm sure
Nick Bosa is ahead of him, but
well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
As far as this cycle goes,
it's got to be up there because he's still in his 20s, and I'd love to see what the compensation is because obviously Carolina needs picks, and what the Giants would have to give up. What do they have? The 6th pick? I don't know that they would maybe trade that one. Yeah, that if that's true, I want to see that verified. Kareem, come on, man.
I've been seeing that too, Kareem. So he's pointing on. So we're looking at that, man. What key free agents that's still out there that can fall into the Chiefs' lap, Lou?
Well, the receivers that I was talking about, I mean, they're still available. Ridley, Brown, you mentioned Samuel, Mooney, Osborne. Those are the top 5. I mean, other than that, you're just like Dre's saying, depth or just, guy that you want to bring into camp. The running backs, you get Eckler. I don't see Henry. You do, but I don't. Maybe Zach Moss, but I got to believe they'll use like a 5th or 6th rounder in the draft to bring somebody in and see what they can figure out. But that's what I was looking for them, more so offensively. Defensively, I don't want to say we're good, but I think we're in good shape. Now, again, it depends. If they don't bring Noddy back, then somebody like a DJ Reader, who knows? But again, that dude's probably looking for big cash too.
Yeah, he's coming off an injury, so teams would probably be a little leery of want to make sure that leg is sound.
30 years old. They made an exception for Chris Jones. He obviously doesn't have the history that Jones does, so that would be a long shot for me.
Yep.
They said give us Brown. Really, they cool with it. So with that said, let's go ahead and before we close out, give our Dave Purdy, our next sponsor, some love.
All right, I'll give my good friend, Mr. Dave Purdy. You can reach him at 816-405-5831. He is your mortgage loan specialist. He understands the difference between being self-employed or 1099. He understands rates. He has a plethora of companies available that will fight to get your loan, and that's a good thing. You want to be in a position to get the best interest rate you possibly can. You need someone who understands how the markets work, understands how to look ahead into the future, and of course, needs to make sure you understand all the financial aspects of getting a house loan. It's not easy, folks, and you need someone who understands it, and Dave Purdy is that guy. You can reach Dave at 816-405-5831. We all love Dave because he is
Purdy
good. That's right.
Go ahead, Drake.
She said that's right. All right, listen. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Kareem Christopher. Let me see, Maryland, man, Trahan. Let me see, Anonymous Mango been kicking butt today. Anonymous Mango, Stephen Brown. Let's see, Sinclair, Desmond Bailey. What's going on? Chiefs at 15. Show some love, man. Let's see. We got. Let me see the GSEP. GSEP also show some love on here too, man. Let's see. Am I missing anybody? President Blanco. President Blanco said, "Let's go."
Hey, also I want to do a big shout out to Stephen Brown, longtime friend. We did some work together back in the heyday. He and Des, we did some stuff together. So Stephen, man, just glad you're listening and hope you and the family are well.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go.
All right.
So that's it. We hear people in the background. So, but with that said, we're gonna be back Wednesday at what?
3 o'clock. No, 3 o'clock. That's when the start of free agency officially begins.
3 o'clock.
So we will stay tuned to ChiefsBlitz.com, at ChiefsBlitz on Facebook, at ChiefsBlitz on Twitter. We may throw another show or two involved. We may throw another show or two depending on what the Chiefs do, unless one team just does something so stupid we feel that we must talk about it.
That's funny. Exactly what we're about. That's right.
Exactly right.
The utterly ridiculous.
Right.
All right. See you guys then. See you guys Wednesday at 3 o'clock.
Peace out, everybody. Again, thanks for watching. 100th episode.
Let's
Love
go.
you guys.
Let's go.